Today's story is about the Oikos University shooting in California, United States, which killed 7 people and injured 3 others. On April 2, 2012, 43-year-old Soo Nam Ko, who lives in California, got up early in the morning and took the subway. He was lost in thought as he looked out the window on the way to Oakland. When he got off the subway, he sat on a bench at the bus stop and rummaged through his pockets with his hand. After a while he got on the bus and got off near the school he was attending and checked his watch. The clock's hands were heading towards 10:30. After looking at the school, he walked towards the school. He opened the door of the school building and approached Kathleen Ping, 24-year-old receptionist sitting at the information desk. He expressed a desire to meet Ellen, who worked as an administrative staff. However, Ping replied that Ellen was off today. Suddenly he underwent a drastic change and took Ping hostage, heading towards the classroom area. On that day he shot 10 people, resulting in the death of 7 people. In 1990, Soo Nam Ko immigrated to Virginia with his family. His parents operated a market and he lived while helping his parents. In 2009, he moved to San Francisco, California with his parents, starting a new life. He had 2 brothers, one of whom was a veteran who served in the military and served in Iraq. Compared to his brothers who were living their lives well, Ko was a source of concern for his family. He didn't attend school in the US and struggled to speak English, making it difficult for him to find a job, and he became isolated. In March 2011, his brother died in a car accident in Virginia, and his mother, who was living in Korea, passed away at the end of that year. This event caused a very big shock to Ko. Now, the only family members left for him are his older brother living in Virginia and his father living in a nearby senior apartment. His father, who is over 70 years old, worked 6 days a week moving goods at a market. His father was always worried about Ko, and would always think about how Ko would live after he died. He would constantly seek advice from people around him on how his son would live. His father asked the owner of the market to hire his son. The owner hired Ko, but he fought with other employees and quit his job after not being able to complete a year. One day his father happened to see an article in the newspaper about a Christian university in Oakland. The university was founded in 2004 by Jong-in Kim, a pastor who immigrated from South Korea. Oikos offers an associate's degree for a licensed practical nurse and undergraduate and graduate degrees. It was a school that provided opportunities to learn through volunteering in the local community. After learning about the school, his father convinced Ko that obtaining a nursing license would secure a good life for him. His father urged him to enroll in school. His father spent $6,000 which he had saved to pay the tuition fee. His father tried his best to make his son, over 40 years old, live well. In 2011, Ko enrolled in the nursing department of this school. The total number of students in the school was about 100. However, Ko had always been alone, and with his limited English and low self-esteem he couldn't get along well with classmates. Especially in the nursing department, foreign students were unable to enroll because after obtaining a license, it was impossible for them to find employment. All the nursing students who were permanent residents or citizens spoke English well. He felt increasingly isolated compared to them. He often argued with students in school and caused trouble, so in November 2011, the school was forced to expel him. At the time, the rent for the apartment was too high and he was forced to move out of his home. He was also unable to pay the fines for his traffic violations. Financially trapped, he went to school and demanded a full refund of his tuition fees, but the school refused due to a policy that stated that tuition fees could not be refunded after a certain period of time had passed since the start of school. He could not bear the anger towards the administrative staff who had refused to refund the tuition fees. He purchased a gun 6 weeks before the incident occurred. On April 2, 2012 at 10:33 a.m., Ko headed towards Oikos University and he went inside the school building and found Ellen. The receptionist said she was off that day. Angry, Ko dragged Kathleen Ping, who was at the information desk, and pointed a gun at her head. He found Ellen inside the school. Although Kathleen Ping kept saying that she was off today, he didn't listen. Dragging Kathleen Ping along, he looked around the building and entered a classroom. That classroom was where he took nursing classes. The students recognized him and Ko ordered them to line up in front of the blackboard. The students were scared and walked towards the blackboard, and some of them quickly realized that a shooting incident was about to occur and started to run away. Ko started shooting towards the remaining students who were trying to escape, and the classroom became chaotic. According to the survivors, Ko shot the students in front of the blackboard. The students in the next classroom heard the gunshot and became panicked. Then, a 27-year-old student named Dan Chan quickly jumped and locked the door and turned off the lights. He gestured for everyone to get under their desks. The students and the professor moved frantically, hiding under their desks and holding their breath. After shooting Kathleen Ping, Ko went to the next classroom, but the door was locked and the lights were off. He attempted to break the window, but he heard someone calling 911, so he left the building. After leaving, Ko headed towards the parking lot and saw a man parking his car and getting out. Ko shot the man and stole his Honda Civic before fleeing. The deceased man was 38 years old, Charing Bhutia. Just as Ko left with the vehicle, a student who had been shot came out of the building, and a man who saw the student who saw her immediately called 911. 3 minutes after the report, the police arrived at the school and they discovered 5 bodies inside the building. 2 individuals who were critically injured were immediately transported to the hospital but later died. Ko opened fire on 10 people and only 3 of them survived. Based on the witness statement, the police began their search for Ko. 1 hour after the incident, a supermarket security guard called the police to report that they had witnessed a suspicious person. The supermarket was 5 miles away from the school. According to the security guard, a man stumbled and entered the market asking if everything was okay. The man mentioned that he had killed someone and requested the guard to call the police. The police immediately arrested the suspect without resistance at the parking lot of the market. Lydia Sim, one of the 7 victims, was 21 years old and volunteered as a Sunday school teacher at the church while attending nursing classes. Her dream was to become a pediatrician after obtaining her nursing license. Grace Kim, another victim at the age of 23, worked as a restaurant manager while studying. Charing Bhutia, a 38-year-old victim, worked as a security guard at the airport while studying to obtain a nursing license. Kathleen Ping, a 24-year-old, had been working at the school for about 7 months and was a mother to a 4-year-old son. She immigrated from Philippines to the United States, worked to send money back to her family in the Philippines, and supported their livelihood. All the victims were hardworking individuals who were pursuing their dreams while working and studying diligently. 2 days later, the suspect Ko appeared at the court. He was charged with 7 counts of murder, 3 attempted murders, robbery, car theft, and kidnapping. His defense lawyer claimed that he was acknowledging and regretting all of his crimes and emphasized that he has never been involved in any previous crimes. The judge read the details of his crimes for 5 minutes, and Ko admitted to all of the crimes but couldn't remember many parts of the incident from the day of the event. The judge, who suspected his mental illness, ordered him to be hospitalized for his mental evaluation. He was hospitalized and began refusing to eat, prompting county sheriffs to consider the possibility of obtaining a court order to forcibly feed him through a feeding tube. After 3 weeks, Ko resumed eating. The doctor in charge of his mental health and the psychiatrist diagnosed that he seemed to have been suffering from schizophrenia for the past 10 years and lacked the ability to cooperate with his public defender due to his limited understanding of the criminal justice system. Based on, the judge ruled that Ko was unfit to stand trial and ordered his confinement to mental institution for treatment. 5 years after the incident, as his mental illness improved, he had his final trial in April 2017. Although he hoped for a life sentence, his mental illness was recognized and he was sentenced to 271 years without parole. He did not appeal and began serving his sentence in prison. He died on March 20, 2019, while in custody at California State Prison, Sacramento. The Sacramento County Coroner's Office investigated the cause of his death, but the prison authorities have not disclosed the exact cause of his death.